Hey there, Detroit sports fanatics. I'm Taylor Phillips, and welcome to Taylor's Detroit Sports on Spreaker. You can also find this and all other episodes of Taylor's Detroit Sports on iHeartRadio. Straight and full Detroit and Michigan sports coverage 100% of the time. If you have any opinions on everything that's going on in the Detroit sports world, call in or send a text message live on the show at 231-429-3668. Also, you can add me on Facebook as Taylor Phillips, online at facebook.com/TaylorGatorPhillips14. Like my Facebook page, Taylor Phillips's Detroit Sports page. Join my Facebook group, Taylor Phillips's Detroit Sports Group. And follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips with 2 L's.
This is episode 116 on Spreaker. I'm Taylor Phillips. Got a full plate here tonight. I'm going to talk some Lions, Red Wings, Pistons. Talk a couple college basketball stories as well. Finally, I realized something good happened in the trade for the Tigers. First of all, the Lions beat the Bears 20-14 in an ugly, ugly game. The Lions struck first on a Reggie Bush 7-yard touchdown run. Wait, that's not 7 yards. Oh, where did we go here? Okay. Got the scoring summary on the Score mobile app. The Score mobile app. It was a 13-yard run by Reggie Bush with 5:15 left in the first quarter. In the second quarter, the Bears struck back with 30 seconds left on a Jeremy Ross muff fair catch. Matt Forte was connected a pass from Jimmy Clausen from 11 yards out to tie the score at 7 with a touchdown. And it was tied at 7 after. It was tied at 7 at halftime. Third quarter, Lions retook the lead with a 39-yard field goal by Matt Prater with 10:24 left in the third. But the Bears struck right back with thanks to the help from dumb penalties by the Detroit Lions defense. They helped the Bears go 74 yards on 14 plays in 7 minutes and 39 seconds. And Alshon Jeffrey converted with a 20-yard pass reception from Jimmy Clausen, who was filling in for a benched Jay Cutler, because it appeared going into this game the Bears were waving their white flag on their season, on their 2014 NFL season. The Lions would make up for that mistake not until the fourth quarter. With 7:15 to go, Joyke Bell fought off a tackle and went into the end zone up the middle, 17-yard touchdown run. Then the Lions retook the lead 17-14. The Lions would force a 3-and-out after Jim Caldwell correctly challenged a call that the receiver was down by contact. When it was first ruled that he got the first down. And then they got the ball back, and they connected on a 30-yard field goal by Matt Prater. With 2:35 left in the game, and the Lions went up 20-14. The Bears had one last shot, but they went 4-and-out. The Lions with 156 to go. With 2:02 to go. No way. It was 156 to go. When Glover Quinn made an interception. Normally you would think the Bears would go 4-and-out. But what puts a little icing on the cake is Glover Quinn making an interception. It's like, how many consecutive games has Glover Quinn picked off a pass? That's amazing. And the Lions took 3 innings and won 20-14. Matthew Stafford finished 22 of 39 for 243 yards and 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. That breaks a streak of 3 games with that. A streak of 3 games without an interception, a 53.7 quarterback rating. Jimmy Clausen, the backup quarterback for the Bears, went 23 of 39 for 181 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. A 77 flat quarterback rating. Reggie Bush led in rushing with 7 carries for 54 yards and a touchdown, 7.7 yards per carry. Matt Forte got himself 19 carries, 55 yards, for 55 yards and 2.9 per carry, per rush. Calvin Johnson caught 6 passes for 12 out of 12 targets for 103 yards, 17.2 yards per reception, yards per catch. Alshon Jeffrey went 6 of 15 for 72 yards to 12 flat per catch and 1 touchdown. Matt Forte did a little receiving on his own with his game-tying touchdown in the second quarter. The Lions committed 7 penalties for 60 yards, and the Bears committed 5 penalties for 86 yards, including a 46-yard pass interference penalty, which set up the Joyce Bell 17-yard touchdown run to put the Lions ahead for good. In other words, that touchdown stood to be the game winner. So with that win, the Lions improved to 11-4. Packers also win 20-3 over the stinking Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. The Bucs just could not score a touchdown. Just got word from Detroit Sports Nation that they are introducing the new 2015 DSN girls, the Detroit Sports Nation girls. But back to the Lions, they will take on the Packers for the tiebreaker to determine who will win the NFC North Division Championship. It'll be at Lambeau Field, and I just got word about 10 or 15 minutes ago that the Lions and Packers game will be pushed back to 4:25 p.m. Eastern, just like the Lions-Vikings game a week ago. And I can actually watch that on TV. As we know, as we know, the Lions have not beaten the Green Bay Packers since in Lambeau Field since 1991. When Barry Sanders was around, I remember all the good memories when the Lions had Barry Sanders as their running back. So I want to address a little issue here about Dominic Raiola. Dominic Raiola pulled a classic Ndamukong Suh. As Dominic Raiola stomped on one of the Bears players. His last name is Ferguson. It was on Ego Ferguson. That Ego was his first name. And that stomp occurred right after Joyke Bell made a 4-yard run. As you take a look at the Vine video, the way I see it, I think it was like, I think it was intentional. Unbelievable. Actually, it's not unbelievable. Dominic Raiola has been a thorn in the Lions' side with his undisciplined acts. I mean, and Ndamukong Suh has recently cleaned up his act this season. But in my mind, Jim Caldwell has had enough. Dominic Raiola can only get fined for something like that. Remember when Ndamukong Suh foot stomped one of the Packers players back in 2011 on Thanksgiving Day? Ndamukong Suh only got fined. He did not get suspended. But I thought Ndamukong Suh could have got suspended for 2 games. not just one game, 2 games. And I think in my mind, Dominic Raiola should be suspended at least 1 game because the NFL simply does not tolerate acts like that. And then after the season's done, I would like for the Lions to cut Dominic Raiola, regardless whether he is under contract or not. Raiola said after the game that, quote-unquote, he talked to Ego at the end of the game. If anybody saw, they shook hands, and he told him it wasn't intentional. He apologized, and that was it. He doesn't know how it works. He can tell the media what he did. It was totally unintentional. He was stumbling out of the play. He was not here trying to step on people. I think he might have a bit of a valid point. It's tough to tell whether it was intentional or not, depending on what I saw from the Vine video myself. It looked half intentional. I was going to say it looked half intentional and half unintentional. He's just the culprit of the weakness of the offensive line. Not only for his undisciplinary acts, but he's not pulling his weight on the field. The Lions have got to clean up their offensive line and strengthen it. Another thing they gotta fix is their special teams. Jeremy Ross's muffed punt return, and Matt Prater had a field goal block. The kick was too low. And the Lions special teams receiving team also got nailed, courtesy of Julian Stanford, for roughing the punter, giving the Bears the first down on a 4th and 23. And the Bears capitalized with an Alshon Jeffrey touchdown and took a 14-10 lead going into the 4th quarter. Luckily, the Lions made up for that. Right now, but looking at the standings, the Lions do own the tiebreaker, but it will not matter because the Lions have to face the Packers next week at 4:25 on Fox to determine who will be the undisputed NFC North Division Championship. So the Lions have 3 things to accomplish next week. First and foremost, they can beat the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field for the first time since 1991, like I mentioned earlier. Second of all, they can clinch the NFC North Division Championship. And thirdly, they can clinch home field advantage and a first-round bye, which means they can play their first playoff game ever at Ford Field. Think about that. So much at stake for the Detroit Lions. So much at stake for our beloved Detroit Lions, I should say. And the Lions will have to clean up their offensive line and firm it way up, and clean up their special teams on the in the discipline department, in the category of discipline, and step it up a few notches, because they're in Lambeau Field. They grounded the Packers to just 7 points at Ford Field in Week 3. Hopefully they can do it again. The Packers were always the Packers were always, in general, always really good at home. And they're gonna try to prove that their case next week. It's all on the table for the Lions to take. They have to earn it. They have to earn it all. Because otherwise they will go on the road in the first round of the NFL playoffs and then play Survivor and make it a much tougher road to the Super Bowl. So again, Lions and Packers, 4:25 on Fox next week in Week 17. Also on 97.1 The Ticket in Detroit and the Detroit Lions Radio Network. Dan Miller and Jim Brandstatter. Now on to the Red Wings. They lose 2-1 in regulation to the Islanders, and then they lose 2-1 in a shootout to the Colorado Avalanche. The shootout lasted 9 rounds, about half as long as the Capitals-Panthers shootout last week in Florida, except the Avalanche took the shootout 3-2 and the game 2-1. The Red Wings only get 1 point when they could have taken 2 to tie with the Montreal Canadiens and Tampa Bay Lightning for first place in the Atlantic Division. 15 minutes left already. Peter Mrazek was in net because Jimmy Howard was day-to-day with a lower body injury, and Mrazek gave up a goal on the first 2 shots in the shootout. Brad McCormick, the first to shoot for the Avalanche. He was 3 for 3 going into tonight. This season in the shootout. Now he's 4 for 4. But the Avalanche were leading 2-0 in the shootout. The Red Wings came back to tie it with Nyquist's 5-hole goal and Tatar's game tire in the third round to send it to extra rounds in the shootout, and it would take 9 rounds to determine it. Mrazek made a few Mrazek made 4 saves, and then before getting burned by Jarome Iginla, whom I thought Patrick Waugh should have used earlier. In fact, Patrick Waugh should have used Iginla in that third round. But Mike Babcock, putting Nicholas Kronwall and Brendan Smith in the shootout. I mean, it's okay to put defensemen in the shootout, but Nicholas Kronwall has only scored 1 career goal. He's now 1 for 3 in his career. Brendan Smith, he deked. But he didn't elevate the puck. And that lost it for the Red Wings, and that won it for the Avalanche. Then I get more of the same crap from Matt Derry in the shootout. Can't blame Howard this time. Mrazek was in net. He finished off his tweet, "What a circus these shootouts are." And I know exactly what Deary is trying to do with his opinions on the shootout. It's all for the Red Wings' sake.
Crybaby! How long are you going to keep whining like a child? You're just a crybaby, a coward!
I have to block a couple people here. Red Wings welcome the Sabres in Tuesday at 7:30, Fox Sports Detroit. Pistons have now allowed Pistons have now allowed 110 plus points in their last 4 games after losing to the Suns 110-100 at the Palace, and then 110-105 in Brooklyn to the Nets. Just the same lack of defense, leaving players wide open from behind the arc. Just snoozing, just screwing around. Their defense is doing absolutely nothing to even play the game. They look confused out there. They're not even being coached by Stan Van Gundy defensively. Van Gundy's got to turn up his coaching on their defense. I love Stan Van Gundy. I don't want them to fire him. He's a good coach. Pistons are now like let me check the standings here. Yeah, they are 5-22. Andre Drummond finished with another. Andre Drummond finished with another double-double. Pistons will have a Christmas break before the day after Christmas, when they play the Indiana Pacers at home at the Palace at 7:30. That'll be on Fox Sports Detroit and Detroit Sports 105.1. You can also stream Pistons games online at Detroit Sports 105.1 and on the Detroit Sports 105.1 mobile app. Michigan got upset again at Chrysler Center by the Southern Methodist Mustangs. What was the score again? Let me see it. 62-51. And then Michigan State fell rock bottom. The 25th ranked Spartans got demolished by the Texas Southern Tigers in overtime, 71-64. I'm telling you, college basketball in the mitten is disgraceful. The Oakland Golden Grizzlies lost to the Pittsburgh Panthers in overtime, 81-77. Well, the Eastern Michigan Eagles beat the Missouri State Bears 77-65. Now there's one win. The Northwestern Wildcats beat the Western Michigan Broncos 67-61. The Rhode Island Rams beat the Detroit Mercy Titans 69-55. And in college football, the Air Force Falcons beat the Western Michigan Broncos 38-24 in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. CMU has off. Chippewas do. Their men's basketball team until tomorrow night when they visit the McNeese State Cowboys, who are 5-4. That game tips off at 8 o'clock on the Chippewa Sports Network, 95.3 WCFX FM in Clare and Mount Pleasant, and 98.5 FM WUPS Houghton Lake. And then the Chippewas football team takes on the Western Kentucky Western Kentucky Hilltoppers on Christmas Eve at noon in the Popeyes Bahamas Bowl on ESPN. Fire up Chips. Still my school no matter. It's always my school no matter what. Grizzlies take on the Clemson Tigers at 7. Western Michigan Broncos basketball takes on Alabama A&M at home at 7. Then the Wolverines take on Coppin State. The Eagles, who are 1-9 in the MEAC, at 8 o'clock on Monday. That's another big Monday in college basketball. Then on Tuesday, the Titans take on the Arizona State Sun Devils in the West Coast at 3 p.m. And the Eastern Michigan Eagles take on the Coppin State Eagles at 6. The Wings and Sabres face off at the Joe at 7:30. One last thing, though. In baseball, some good news here. When the Tigers traded Rick Porcello to the Boston Red Sox for left fielder Yoenis Cespedes, they also got some bullpen help. They got right-handed pitcher Alex Wilson, who finished with a 1.98 ERA in the majors with the Red Sox, compared to his 4.34 ERA in the minors with the Pawtucket Red Sox. Pawtucket Red Sox. As you can tell, he's better off playing in the majors rather than in the minors. And the Tigers should put him on the roster as well. They got to try him out, but I think they should put him on the roster. Just make sure he performs. So, you can leave comments and tweet to me at DT2Phillips on everything that's happened in Detroit sports lately. The Lions beating the Bears, the Red Wings constantly pushing the self-destruct button, the Pistons just blowing themselves up, college sports in the mitten in general being a disaster, and the Tigers getting a little bullpen help as well. Because I got to wrap this up.